Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be looking at the Three Stooges, more specifically at the 58th Stooge short produced by Columbia Pictures in 1941. It was called In the Sweet Pie and Pie. The release date was October 16th, 1941, and filming took place between April 30th and May 3rd, 1941. Now, before I get into the actual video and the details of this episode, I've covered all 57 Stooge shorts that come before this one in chronological order. You can watch them in any order that you want in the playlist, Three Stooge playlist. Check the links in the description. Let's get right to it, guys and gals. Now, you may look at the name of this short and think, In the Sweet Pie and Pie, where does that come from? Well, it's a play off the old song, In the Sweet By and By. In the names of the sisters that you will hear that are actually the quote-unquote wives, the ladies that are trying to outwit the Stooges, Tiska, Taska, and Baska, they're a play on the song A Tisket, a Tasket. Lately, I've been beginning my videos with looking at all the exterior shots of a Stooge short, and actually this one doesn't have any. Well, it's partially right and partially wrong, and I'll tell you why. This is one of the Stooge shorts that actually has very interesting sequences. Now, some of the footage was actually borrowed from earlier shorts, and some of the footage was later reused in future shorts, and that's kind of cool. So, for example, the dancing lesson sequence in Hoi Polloi is the same one in this episode. I've covered Hoi Polloi in a previous video, so they got it from that Stooge short and put it into this one. Now, the cell block footage that you see in this short for the first time is later reused in a future one with, of course, Curly. It's called Beer Barrel Polecats. Now, several shots from the pie fight that you see at the end of the short would later appear in Pest Man Wins, and that's one with Shemp. Now, what's interesting about that is, of course, they can't show the shots of Curly in this one, but they show the ones that Curly is not in and then apply them to the ones that Shemp are in. Do a little bit of careful editing and it all works out. It's very interesting. Now you may say, Rick, what does this have to do with the exterior shots? Well, one of these that I mentioned, the dancing lesson sequence where they finally do the crazy dance, which is a hilarious scene, and then jump out the window and land in a fountain, that's the only exterior shot they use. But funny enough, it was filmed prior, as I mentioned, for Hoi Polloi and inserted in here. So technically, while this is reused footage, there's no original footage from this short that was filmed for it. It was used previously. Now, this location is a very interesting one. You can actually go visit it today in Los Angeles, California. It's in a park, and it's actually a statue dedicated to Rudolph Valentino. It was a fountain. Now it's filled with flowers, and it has a little adjustments here and there, but it's really cool to note this. Now, here are a couple bloopers that I do want to note. Now, when we go back to when the Stooges are bursting through the front door of the mansion to meet up with the girls, you can see that the butler's coming to the door, and as they knock on it, you can see that the door on our left actually opens just a little bit. That's because they're not really locked. Although, in the story, they are locked, but that was a very apparent blooper. Additionally, when the Stooges are asleep together, you can see that they're snoring really hard. It's kind of a signature move that they do. The in and out are very apparent when you do hear them. Now, pay very close attention to the lamp that is shaking. It's actually being pulled by a string, and you can see that. Even going back to the scene where they begin the dance, there is the woman who's teaching them how to dance, but a bee gets into the back of her dress. You can even see the string that is holding onto the bee. It's really hard to look at it from the screenshots, but if you actually watch the short, you can see it very, very clearly. Also, do want to give a big shout out to Richard Fisk. This is Richard Fisk, and he played in many Stooge shorts. He was most popularly the crazy and angry sergeant in Boobs and Arms. This is a short that I covered previously. Now, the reason I'm mentioning him is because this is his last ever appearance in a Three Stooge short. And this is really sad because he actually went off to war and he was killed in August 1944 in France. And so this is the last time we see him. He was in many Stooge shorts, and I did make kind of a memorial video in that previous Stooge short. So go check it out if you haven't. I think you'll definitely appreciate it. I do have to mention to you, if you haven't seen this Stooge short, absolutely go out there in any way you can, watch it because it is one of the best in terms of this pie fight. It is pretty much world renowned in the Stooge community that this is pretty much one of the best, or if not the best, pie fight they ever have. So much so that, as I mentioned, they reused it in later Stooge shorts. Now, Larry Fine recalled something really interesting, but something very difficult when they did film these pie fights that may look like fun. It was actually pretty painful and they got injured while they did this. Why is that true? Well, these are his words. He says that sometimes we would run out of pies. So the prop man would sweep up the pie goop off the floor, and this would include things like nails, splinters, tacks. Why? Because it was a soundstage, and often the Stooges did stunts and so forth. Wood would splinter and it would fall to the ground. It was just all used up later on. Now, there was another problem, was pretending that you're not going to know when a pie hits you. If you close your eyes before, it doesn't look great on camera and so forth. So how did they solve this? Well, Jules White, who often directed and as well as produced a lot of these shorts, he came up with a plan. If Larry was going to get hit in the face, he would say, okay, Mo is going to smack you with a pie on the count of 3. Then he would count until Mo hit Larry on the count of 2, not on the count of 3. And then when he went to Larry, he would say, okay, you're going to get hit at 3. And Larry noted that he was never able to get to 3 because Mo would crown him with a pie right before he hit 3. I think this is a fantastic story, guys and gals. Let me know what you think. I think this is a very iconic and in fact underrated short because it has a lot of the scenes like the jail scene as well as the pie scene. Many very popular scenes, even the bedroom scene where they have the bunk bed stacked 3 high, and it's hilarious and it's not really talked about much, but remember, a lot of the scenes are reused because they were that classic and so good. We'll see you next time, guys and gals, for more Stooge short reviews, looking at bloopers, history, and really cool facts just like this. If you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free to do so, and like this video to let me know that you actually enjoyed it and you want to see more. And never forget, be hopeful. Thank you so much to my Diamond tier patrons: Citizen Kane 359, Paul T, Ricky, Gary N, David D, Sally N, Yasmin G, and Lori K. If you want to be part of the Patreon family, don't forget to take a look at the description with many exclusives that you can enjoy.